wrap-up video. Yes, no, yes. What? Act. What's up you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video I am doing my May wrap-up video, aka the month that I failed my TBR, but it's all good. May was a hard month for me personally, so obviously that transpired in my reading. I wasn't in the mood to read a lot in the month of May, so I only ended up reading 6 books, which when you think about it, 6 books is actually quite good. So it's not like a bad reading month, but it is one of the months where I read the lowest book. I think it's the lowest since January, and then even before that. But it's all good, it's all fine. I did read some amazing book this month, so it's all good. Before we get started, if you're new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing if you like anything book related. I would love to have you back on my channel. And if you're returning viewers, as always, I love you so much. And let's get started. So the first book that I ended up reading this month is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This is described as a sci-fi thriller book, and honestly guys, this was so good. I love this book so much. I do have a reading vlog for this book. You'll see even in that vlog how little reading I ended up doing, but I did read this book at least that week. I read this because I was trying to read more sci-fi book in the month of May. I did say in my review of this book that I feel like this book is way more of a scientific book than anything else because of the way the information is like told to us and brought through us. Obviously it's a sci-fi because of the event in this book, like it's not real, but I do feel that it's brought to us in a very scientific way. And I also said in my review that I feel like this book at its core is a love story, and it's like the cutest, most amazing love story ever, because basically this is about this guy who wakes up one day and he doesn't know where he is and what is going on, and he does everything in his power to go back to the woman that he loves. So at its core, this is a love story, and it's like one of the greatest love story ever, but it is very much of a thriller book. It's a page turner book. You can read this in one sitting. It's super short, super quick, and this was 5 stars. I loved this book so much. After reading that book, I ended up picking up After You Eve, Eve Brown, which is the 3rd book in the Brown Sister trilogy, and I ended up really enjoying that book. I don't know if it's my favorite of all of the sisters books. I think I'm the odd one out, where I think I like Chloe Brown the best. I don't know why, I love that trope of like lists and going through lists and doing stuff, so I think that might be why it's my favorite. But Eve Brown is a very close runner-up. I loved her. She was so cute, and I loved the overall story. It's the 3rd sister, the younger sister. Her parents kick her out and are like, you have to find a job, you have to like be a grown-up, or we are not supporting you anymore. And so she packs her stuff, get in her car, and then drive, and she finds this bed and breakfast with a help wanted sign, and then she gets a job there. She meets Jacob, which is going to be her love interest, and they have the cutest little story ever. I love anything that is set in a hotel, like bed and breakfast or anything. I have a bachelor's in hospitality management. I don't work in that anymore, but I loved that environment in general, and in books obviously I loved the setting, I loved their relationship, I loved Eve Brown, I loved Jacob. I thought they were so cute, and as always in the Brown sister, there's some amazing representation in this book. So overall I really enjoyed that book. I'm giving it 4.5 stars. The ending did focus a lot more on the other stuff than their relationship, which is why I'm like knocking off half a point for that book, but it was so cute. And all 3 books in that series I would recommend if you're into romance book. They are the cutest, most amazing, super quick read book. I want a physical copy now of it because I don't have one, so yeah. Okay, so the next book I ended up reading was Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. This is described as a cozy mystery book, and I read this for the Asian readathon that was going on because the author is from the Philippines, and also the characters in these books are from there. I overall enjoyed this book. It is not one of those like page turner book, which I kind of was hoping for. I was hoping for this like super fast-paced mystery thriller, and it is much more of a mystery book, but it has some twists and turns and I really enjoyed this book. It was about this girl who owns a restaurant, and then one day her ex-boyfriend comes in her restaurant and then ends up dying at the table. And so obviously people are suspecting her to have to do with that, and it's about that. There's a lot of things unfolding in this book. There are some, like I said, there's a lot of twists and turns which I didn't necessarily expect, so I did enjoy this book overall. It wasn't what I was expecting, and I wasn't as invested in this book as I was in Dark Matter. So yeah, but there's tons of food reference in this book, so that was amazing. There's even some recipe in the back which I might try one day. And yeah, I mean, overall I think I gave this like 4 stars. It was a really good book, a really cute book, and I would recommend if you're into some mystery thriller book. Next book that I ended up reading was a reread, an old favorite of mine, and I ended up reading Anne of Green Gables. This is the first book in the series. What is the series called? Anne of Green Gables series, I guess. I did end up listening this as an audiobook. A lot of people were talking about this book on our Discord group. Link will be down below. And it was bringing back so many memories, so I just wanted to pick it up. And this is 5 stars. This is such a nostalgic book for me. I feel like this brings back so many memories. I did only read the series once when I was a kid, but I loved the movies. And I've seen the movies like 100 times, no kidding. So yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say about this book. I really like this book. Anne is just so precious, and I really liked it. So yeah, it was a really quick read for me. Next book that I ended up reading was Jade City by Fonda. This was our pick for our book club, The Dragon's Library. I will link our Discord group down below if you wanted to come join us. We read 1 adult fantasy a month. This month we are reading The Sword of Kagan if you want to join us on a read along. But I ended up loving this book. I have a reading vlog for this book, so I will link it down below and in the cards up above. So if you want more of my thoughts on this book, I ended up giving this book 4 stars. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. The second half of the book made up for the whole book, in my opinion. The first half of the book was quite slow, and I was having trouble getting into the book and getting invested in these characters and in the storyline. It's a lot of information, it's a lot of setup and world building. But in my opinion, it did pay off in the second half of the book, and hopefully in the second book. But yeah, I ended up really liking this book. It's a 4 stars. Go check out my reading vlog on this book if you want more information. And then the last book I ended up picking up this month is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir. I don't know why I ended up picking this book up, because I think maybe I was in the mood for a YA fantasy book. I don't know. I went to my shelf one day and I just picked this book up. And I enjoyed this book overall. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. So we are following 2 main characters in this book. We are following a girl named Talia, who infiltrates this school because she wants to save her brother, basically. And then we are following this guy named Ilyas, who is a student at the school, which I'm not going to say anymore. I don't want to say more than that. This is kind of a fantasy world, but it reads almost as a dystopian book, especially in the beginning. There are some fantasy element in this book, but not too much. It reminded me a little bit of Throne of Glass, because I felt the same in Throne of Glass, whereas it reads almost as a dystopian book in the beginning, and then we get some fantasy element as the story goes on. I enjoyed this book overall. I thought it was pretty well done. I liked the concept. I liked everything. This is very YA if you don't like YA. And I mean YA because this book focuses a lot on the relationships of everything, like friendships forming and falling out and everything. It focuses a lot on that. But the pacing of the story, and it is pretty action-packed. I liked it. I will continue on with the series. I thought it was really good, but nothing necessarily spectacular in my opinion. Like I was kind of thinking it would be. But that's pretty much it, guys. Those were all of the books that I have read in the month of May. Have you read any of these books? Leave a comment down below if you have, and what were your thoughts on them, or if you're planning on reading them soon. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night depending on when you're watching this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!